Hi, everyone. It's Eric Romero, Director of Broker Management for Your Castle Real Estate. Today is May 9th, 2023, and I want to talk to you about the market and some things that we're starting to see. So, if you remember back, say, 2022, early 2021, market was very competitive. Buyers were having to get very creative to get their offers accepted. We're seeing that again now, and it may not be quite to the extreme. You may not have to pay 5 or 10% over list price, but we are seeing buyers do a lot of things to get their offers accepted. And I'll talk about just a couple of them, but I'm going to focus on earnest money. So we're seeing buyers starting to waive their inspections again, which is not recommended, but some buyers want to do it. If that's what they want to do, it's up to them. Our job is to counsel them as to the risks. The biggest downside is they don't know what they're buying. They're relying solely on the seller's disclosure for the property, and they might find problems after they move in. And if we didn't counsel them properly as to the risks, then they might try to blame us for that. Same thing with appraisals. In this market, buyers may have to bring in extra cash to close because the appraised value might come in slightly lower than the contract price. So buyers need to make sure that if they're waiving those contingencies, that they have the money to be able to make up the difference if that's how the contract was written. The thing I really want to talk about today, though, is non-refundable earnest money. We're seeing more buyers, write into contracts that as of a certain date, their earnest money becomes non-refundable, which here again, their choice. We should explain the risks. And the big risk is if they end up not closing for any reason, the seller might dispute the return of the earnest money. So even if there's additional deadlines that the buyer might have in the contract, say like loan availability, maybe title review, inspection, I'm sorry, not inspection, insurance review. Maybe those deadlines are still out there, which would give the buyer the right to terminate the contract normally if they see something they don't like. But they have a deadline falling before that, or they say the earnest money is non-refundable. So what they've done is create a situation where if they terminate later on, the seller might say, "Hey, you said you were going to the earnest money was non-refundable as of this certain date." So if you have a buyer that wants to write an offer where their earnest money is non-refundable, in my opinion, the best way to do it is just to structure all the deadlines so that they're completed prior to whatever the date is that the earnest money is going to become non-refundable. That way the buyer can still do an inspection, still review title, still review association documents or whatever they have. Once those deadlines pass, and you can do it in a short window, then their earnest money would become non-refundable based on the language that's already in the contract. If they want to retain some of those rights, but then have their earnest money become non-refundable at a date prior to some of those deadlines, then they really need an attorney to draft those clauses. And most real estate brokers are not attorneys. So when it comes to risking earnest money, that's something we would definitely want to recommend your buyer get a legal opinion on. So anyway, that's all I have today. Hope it makes sense. And I'll see you in another video in the future or a class. Thank you.